What you don't understand what they're trying to do. They have to wake up the dingleberries that are still asleep.
Okay.
The entire MAGA unit is completely out of touch with what's actually happening in reality.
If you're paying $7.50 for a gallon of milk and $4 or $5 for a dozen eggs, you're saying to yourself, hold on a second, you're telling me inflation's going down? I don't feel it.
Because they are constantly distorting reality in order to fit the paradoxical narratives that keep coming out of Trump's mouth. For example, Joe Biden isn't actually president. Trump is president, but he's not responsible for anything that's actually happening that's negative right now in the United States. That's Joe Biden's fault, even though he's not really the president. And anyone with logic and critical thinking skills would be able to understand that those two things don't go together. But when you live in this indoctrinated MAGA fantasy land, anything that you want to go together does go together, and you can fit a square peg into a round hole if Trump says so.
You think that Trump is actually still in power right now?
Mm-hmm. What do you think?
So you think Biden is not the current president right now?
No, sir.
No.
No, sir. Never believed it.
So Trump is the current president right now?
Yes, sir.
So are you mad at Trump for the high gas prices?
No. It's not Trump's fault.
Whose fault is it then?
It's Joe. He's got to set all this.
But Joe
up.
Biden, where's Joe Biden? He said he's not president.
He's not the president.
Okay.
What I'm trying to say is.
So how could the gas prices be his fault if he's not president?
What you don't understand what they're trying to do. They have to wake up the dingleberries that are still asleep.
Okay.
And it's hard to blame them when they were raised in an educational system that erodes critical thinking skills, instills obedience and martyrism for this country. And then you hear Trump speak. That's become their messiah. That's become who they're a martyr for. And he doesn't even know what he's talking about half the time.
Not other things. And I think that was I frankly think that was an amazing decision. But it's no wonder the far-left lunatics, perverts, and criminals are getting desperate to stop our movement by any means necessary. They are really trying to stop us, as you perhaps have read. It's all they're good at. They're bad at policy. They have no idea what they're doing. They have open borders. They have no voter ID. They don't want voter ID. I saw on the television one of these characters. There shouldn't be voter ID. Now, you have voter ID to buy a loaf of bread. You have ID to buy a loaf of bread. You have everything. You have pictures. When they had their Democrat National Convention, they had a picture of the biggest thing I've ever seen. They had fingerprints. They had everything you could possibly know about that person. That was to get into their room with thousands of people. It was like a billboard. It was actually very much like my mugshot, if you want to know the truth. Thinking about it just right now. Big. But for voting, the most important thing, for voting, there'll be no voter ID. And this guy was trying to explain why. There's only one reason they don't want voter ID, because they want to cheat. That's the only reason. There's no second reason.
First of all, an ID for a loaf of bread? What are you talking about? Second of all, none of that was true or even made sense, except for, boo, Democrat. How are they supposed to use their own smart, logical talking points if this is what they're being fed?
And I hope that this investigation now, which is finished, it's totally finished, no collusion, no obstruction. I hope they now go and take a look at the oranges of the investigation, the beginnings of that investigation. You look at the origin of the investigation, where it started, how it started.
But it's not even just creating this false reality where things just don't line up, but still make sense. They also create a reality where his exact behavior is just completely overlooked. It never happened, and he never did that bad thing he did or lacked doing.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Food for everyone. Food for everyone.
On Tuesday, shortly after he was charged with 37 federal criminal counts, Donald Trump visited the Cuban restaurant Cafe Versailles in Miami. It's an iconic restaurant where politicians love to stop for photo ops. And while he was there, Trump promised to buy food for everyone. It was an unusually generous offer from Trump, who is not exactly known to have Santa-like instincts for giving. And so everyone cheered, and there were presumably warm feelings in the room, and yay, free cafecitos for everyone. Except no one got anything.
He offered to buy everyone's meal. Didn't buy anyone's meal. He said, food on me, and then walked out. And all you'll ever hear from a MAGA person is, he offered to buy everyone's food. What a nice guy. If someone slighted me like that, that is not the direction I'd be headed. But they live in MAGA make-believe land where Trump can do no wrong and square pegs fit in round holes. It's why logic doesn't work in an argument with a MAGA fan. They're past that. They're beyond logic. They're indoctrinated. You're wasting your time. So the next time you get frustrated arguing with a MAGA fan, just remember, this is where their logic is coming from. This is where they're getting all their information. And they're trying to make it all mesh together, and in their fantasy world, it does. Which is why your logic cannot penetrate those walls. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to check out some of my content that isn't news related, you can check out my personal YouTube channel at BadGamerWyatt. And until then, I will see you in the next video. Thank you.